Everybody knows John and I are married and have 3 kids. But what you don't know is where it all started. John and I met right after I got a divorce. Well, not necessarily right after. So after I divorced my wife and I came out, I decided, because I owed her so much money in our divorce. We had been married for years and we had just bought a house and we owned the house. So I owed her so much in equity. I was like, I'm gonna use myself to pay this off. And I joined a sugar baby website. I found a local sugar daddy. Now, I don't recommend that. It's very dangerous and it did not turn out great. My story turns out okay, but it doesn't for everyone. I got with this guy and we had an arrangement. And one of his things he liked was to bring other people in and to watch. So I never got to choose these people. He always chose them. And one night I was actually pretty fed up with this guy, to be honest with you. And I was like, let me pick. So I'm scrolling through and I see John. Never met him before. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. You get this guy here tonight and it's happening. He offers John, I don't remember how much money to show up, sends him my picture, and next thing I know, John's there. Well, ends up being the best night of my entire life. Not just because of what you're thinking, because dude actually fell asleep and John and I stayed up all night talking together, having the great, I had never had such connection with somebody I had just met. It was unreal. Well then, Sugar Daddy wakes up and realizes that I'm having such a great time. He flips out, throws me up against the wall. John's like, hey, I don't want to be in the middle of this. And I don't blame him. He had just met us. He's like, oh, out. So he leaves. I don't get his number. I don't even know if I gave him mine. I'm like, no. This was my chance, and you just ruined this for me because of your jealousy, this sugar daddy jealousy. So I told him to get out because we were at my house. So I told him to get out of my house. A week goes by, and I'm like, I just couldn't stop thinking about John. So I go back to see Sugar Daddy because I'm like, he's the only connection I have to John. I have no other way to get a hold of John. So while I'm there, we have a discussion and I'm like, listen, you want to work things out with me. You want me to be your number one, because that's what he always called it, number one. Then I want a number two. And my number two is John. I picked John. So you want me? I want him. He does it. So he calls John, and for 2 or 3 nights we're staying there with Sugar Daddy, and I'm just having the time of my life with John. To the point of, and it had gotten pretty dangerous with the Sugar Daddy. He at one point had actually looked at me and was like, if you ever try to leave me, I will kill you. And I was like, who says that to somebody? He's like, I'm serious. And I believed him. And he started taking control to the point where he had my car keys, my phone, everything. I was using stuff he gave me to use, and he had all of my stuff. So one night, John and I had come up with a scheme because I was like, look, please come over and stay with me at my house. I feel very scared. I was like, I know you don't know me very well. I know you're kind of he had just moved down to Tennessee. I was like, you come stay with me for a while. Please just help me get away from this guy. He's very dangerous. So we work up this plan. John gives him this amazing massage and gets him to fall asleep. John walks over and I smack him on the butt. I'm like, you did it. I feel something rustling in his underwear because that's all he's wearing. And he's like, he had grabbed some money out of dude's wallet, put it in his underwear. He's like, we're going to need gas money. I'm like, I'm in love with this man. So we get all of our stuff. We get my car. We get out of there. We come home. This guy, when he realizes we're gone, flips out, threatening us. I'm like, please don't leave, John. And I can't call the cops. What am I going to say? So somehow we end up getting everything away from that guy. He even went to my family. He stalked everyone trying to get a hold of me. And John did not leave from the week that he came to stay with me. And we just instantly hit it off. I fell head over heels in love with this man. And I love his kids. And he loved mine. And we just grew this huge family unit. And you guys have watched it since then. basically since him and I became a thing is when we started making these videos. So you guys have watched us go like this, and we're finally on an uphill because we've got our mindset, and like it took us a long time, and especially because of where we started and how we met and where we came from. There was a lot to deal with, but we are in such an amazing spot now. I literally think this is my absolute favorite story to tell.